Welcome back to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and welcome to my guide on upgrading attacking cards in Zor the Pilgrimage of the Slorfs. So in the beginning you want to upgrade the swipe card, and you'll be shown 3 options out of a total of 7, and you can pick one of those. And today we're going to talk about all these 7 options and which ones are the best. So we're going to order this from the worst to best based on how I feel about this game. So let's start with the worst, which is Yell. Yell deals no damage. It makes your enemies flee up to 3 tiles away from you and miss their turn. It doesn't cost anything, which is kind of a redeeming quality here, but it doesn't cost any damage. This is not great because that means that you have to use your regular move cards to actually cause damage. Also, the fact that they go away from you is kind of beneficial in the sense that they're gone from you, but you then have to catch up to them again with your move cards, so it will cost you a lot of food. So I do not recommend Yell. Yell, I feel, could be useful if you already have a different attacking card with the range, and then you can sort of supplement it with Yell, but as your main and only attacking card, which is what you're going to be using it for in the beginning, it's not very useful. Bite. So Bite costs 1 water and it hits an enemy for 1 damage, and it gives you 1 food for each damage taken. So the 1 food sounds pretty amazing. It sounds like it's going to be one of the best options, but it's actually not out of the 7. And the upgrade of this, by the way, gives you 2 food for each damage. Any attack that is range, if you can do it from at least like 1 range away, it's essentially saving you that 1 food, because for Bite you have to be adjacent to the enemy, so if you have any ranged attack, it's the same as if you got it in that 1 food back. So in that sense, it will sort of counteract. So the Bite thing is cool that in the sense that it doesn't exhaust, which some of the better cards will, but there are ways to counteract the exhaust. So Bite is okay, but I feel like you're gonna have a lot better options elsewhere. Next up we have Rash. Rash costs 2 water and it allows you to move up to 3 tiles in a straight line and then hit enemy for 1 damage, and the card then exhausts. Rash is actually pretty good because the fact that it allows you to save up movement can be quite useful. The reason why it's sort of in the middle of the list is because it's a little bit more expensive than some of the other options we're going to be getting. And it's a straight line, so if you're sort of partially curved from the enemy, it will not work out. But I definitely think that Rash is a good option, and you can make, if you know you have to be in a straight line, you can work around it. Next up we have Spin. As you can see over here, it costs 1 water. It does 1 damage to an area around you, and if it's later upgraded, it does 1 damage to an area of 2 around you. It exhausts at the end. What makes this really interesting is the area damage, especially at the first act of the pilgrimage. You can get a bunch of small enemies like these wasps or these sort of buggish things, so being able to do a big area damage can be quite useful. Also, you do not have to worry about friendly damage. Even if the other Slorf is adjacent, it will not hit him, so in that sense it can be quite useful. So I do like this Spin quite a bit. I think if you can sort of place one of your people really sort of in the middle and hit 1 or 2 enemies, it can be quite strong, can be do quite nice damage. So now we're jumping to the territory of, I think, the 3 best options. Big Strike. Big Strike costs only 1 water. It does not exhaust, and it deals 2 damage. The reason why this is so good is because of the fact that it deals 2 damage. You can sometimes avoid a hit back from enemies. So again, a lot of the bugs only have 2 HP, and some of the wasps have sort of like 1 block and 1 HP, but you gotta be careful that if it's block, it will take over the damage, but if they have evasion, then it will avoid both of the hits, so you gotta be careful there. But being able to do damage can be pretty strong. It can sometimes allow you to kill an enemy, or if an enemy has 3 HP, you can do 2 with 1 Slorf and then 1 attack with another Slorf. So this is pretty cool. It doesn't exhaust, it only has 1 water, so I really like the Big Strike. I think it's a really good option. Next, and we're jumping to my 2 favorites, and I honestly can't decide which one is better, but I think I'm gonna go with this order. So we're gonna go with Punch next. Punch costs 1 water, it exhausts, and it attacks adjacent target for 2 damage and knock target back 1 tile. So first of all, you can do 2 damage again, just like with Big Strike, which is pretty huge by itself. But you then knock the target back 1 tile. This is interesting because if the enemy survives that attack, it often has to use an action point to get to you, so it might not have additional actions to then hit you, so you can use this to avoid getting hit back. There is the disadvantage that you have to then move back towards them to kill them with a regular move attack, but that should be doable, and they might not be able to hit you on their turn, which I think is pretty cool. And then my favorite upgrade is Glare. Glare does not exhaust, only costs 1 water, and what it does, it deals 1 damage to an enemy from a range of 1, and it also stops them from having a turn. So attack target in range 2 for piercing 1 damage, and target is immobilized for 1 turn. So first of all, it's piercing damage. This is absolutely huge. For example, the wasps, they have some sort of block. You can simply avoid that. Second, it immobilizes the enemy for 1 turn, meaning they can't hit you back. And it works at a range, so it will. So remember when we said about the bite, how it gives you food back? Well, here saving up the food because you can attack from a distance. Again, this can be quite useful on enemies with low action points because you can stay away. They have to move towards you, and they won't be able to hit you on that same turn. The upgrade of this is Intimidate. It still costs only 1 water, but now it immobilizes them for 2 turns. So I think Glare by far wins everything, also because it doesn't even exhaust, as opposed to some of the other things like the spins or the punches that do exhaust. So this is my ordering. Let me know what your ordering is and which upgrades do you think are the best and the worst. All right. I'll see you there. Bye bye.